Right guys, so working in sport, I work primarily with basketball, American football and football, so I see a lot of ankle inversion sprains, which is one of the most common sporting injuries. A lot of people get that taped, and basically this is a tutorial of how I tape the ankle. So first of all I'm going to show you the common mechanism of ankle inversion sprain. So as you can see here, we've got the ATFL ligament, we've got the CFL ligament and the PTFL ligament. Now, the common mechanism of injury is the ankle inverting, and now here with plantar flexion. So the ankle comes in and stretches down, the toes point down. As you can see, the stretch on the ATFL and the CFL. PTFL isn't common injured, but the ATFL and CFL primarily are. So you can see that stretch there. Now, when taping, our aim is to dorsiflex and evert the foot. That's the movement we want to encourage. So now I'm going to show you how I tape. What I use, first of all I'll start with pre-wrap. Now the pre-wrap, if there was, you'll slide off the bench a little bit. So the pre-wrap is a protective layer. It makes the tape easier to apply and come off if they've used any sort of oil or the legs are hairy. The pre-wrap is really good for that. And when removing it makes it nice and easy. Right. So always want to make sure that the toes are pointing up and the foot's in a neutral position. Apply the tape in a position other than a neutral position. Right, first you apply 2 anchors. So these 2 anchors are the proximal anchors. You don't want to apply any pressure on these. And now with the distal anchor, you want to palpate the 5th metatarsal, the head of the 5th metatarsal even, and you don't want to apply any pressure over that, because then you can start cutting blood circulation off, which is not what you want to do. And as I was saying before, you want to encourage dorsiflexion and eversion of the foot, so you always want to tape from medial to lateral. So the first, do you want to bring this right?
Yeah, sorry.
So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start on the medial side, I'm going to bring it over the medial malleolar and over to the lateral side. I'm just going to apply a little bit of tension to that, and that encourages the foot into that dorsiflexed everted position. The next stirrup comes over 1/2 inch. Do the same thing. And the third and final one. There you go. Now some people don't like to do this, but I think it just adds a little bit extra. So the horseshoes next. Applying to the distal anchor. Again, working medial to lateral. I'll just do a few of these. Just gives it that extra stability to the joint. Now the next thing I do is a heel lock. So you start from the middle, come round and underneath the heel, round the top, and over. Depending on the athlete, depending on the severity of the injury, you can do this a few times. Just make sure you do it equal. Now I'll go into my figure of 8s just to solidify the tape and the stability of the joint and really lock the heel in. Again, you want to be working both sides so it's even. You can do this as many times as you like, just depends on the athlete's preference. Now you just want to clean everything up. You don't want any loose ends, so you just apply your C-strips. You don't want to apply any tension to these. You just want the whole ankle to be covered. You don't want any gaps. That can lead to blisters, can lead to the tape rolling off and you having to do it again. So when you're working in sport, you need to be getting these guys back nice and quick. So again, no tension on this. Just tidying it up, making it look nice and pretty. So once you've checked it, there's no gaps anywhere. Look for the capillary refill, and if it's returning quite quickly, then you've done a good job.